Hello, hello. All right. Hi, guys. Let me make sure I'm muted the stream so I don't hear an echo. All right. Okay, so let's give everyone a moment to get here. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day. I know everyone's busy. I know school is, hectic right now. So let's give everyone, our friends, a second to get here. Hey, who's that?
There we go.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Do I have the wrong link? What's going on?
It's nice to see you. It's so lovely seeing friends, even though it's virtual.
Yes, it's true. I know. I miss you guys this year. No live Caribbean tour.
Oh boy.
I'm missing Jamaica.
Keep fingers crossed for next year. No more pandemics.
Exactly.
All right. So we have 7 persons so far.
Oh,
so let's give them a few minutes. This is right smack in the middle of school time.
No.
so I know people are rushing from classes right now.
No worries.
In the mean,
they'll always catch the recording too, right?
Exactly. Oh, speaking of which, let me drop the YouTube link in the chat. So guys, this is all on YouTube. So if for any reason you want to go, just revise what we talked about today or review, you can like us on YouTube, guys. US Embassy Jamaica. Yes, shameless plug there. All right. Oh, I have a question already.
Yeah, already. Look at there.
Okay. All right. What type of assistance does the U.S. Embassy provide for preparation to study in the U.S.? You're in it right now, my friend. This is said example. This is the preparation. So please, we're all friends, we're all family here. So please don't be shy. Ask Stephen any questions you might have about studying at Broward College. He's, that like our previous presenter, Laura, he's very good at his job. So please don't be shy. Drop your questions in the Q&A.
Who was the previous presenter, Laura?
Yeah, so Laura did a presentation on the student athlete process. So okay. I'm seeing a couple familiar names here. So we have quite a few athletes. Awesome. I'm feeling a little bit jealous because as one of the opportunities, I didn't play a sport that was I did martial arts. So unfortunately, I wasn't on one in one of those sports like soccer, basketball. So I just had to do my sports, as a hobby.
There you go. My brother was the family. He had a scholarship in sports.
Oh, nice. Which sport did he play?
He played football, American football.
And there you go. Yeah. Oh, we had a student who was interested in American football. And we had basketball, soccer, swimming. We have some talented students here.
I was the artist in the family, so I was the acting major. So I did acting and writing and directing. That was my forte in college.
Nice. All right. So any questions while we wait? So feel free. So we're going to answer questions at the end of the presentation. But while we wait on persons to join, please feel free. If you have a question, you can drop it in the Q&A or in the chats. But the Q&A is better because we can actually see which questions we have answered. So any questions, guys? Don't be shy. I see some names here from yesterday, so if I pick on you. All right, Ebony, I see my fellow Holy Childhood alum or Holy Childhood student. So that's my high school, or was my high school many, many moons ago. So please
one of the
ask
things
your
I
questions.
can do while we're waiting for a few more people to attend, because it's not in my actual presentation because I forgot to put it in there. But just as a special identifier for our students from Jamaica and from all of the Caribbean countries that follow what we call the British system. So usually when you're applying to university or college in the United States, and college, but I mean post-secondary, because I know you have colleges in Jamaica that are high schools that are called colleges. So we're not talking about high school, we're talking about post-high school, post-secondary. Most of them are looking to see your high school transcripts and your high school graduation records. At Broward College, we don't go by that. We only go by your CXC scores and any CAPE scores if you have them. So you don't even need to have graduated from high school, really. As long as you have the correct number of passes on the CXC, then that makes you admissible to Broward College. You need to have at least 4 passes in what we call college prep subjects, things like math, English, any of the sciences, history, social studies, foreign language, etc. Or 3 of those passes, and then 2 in what we call non-college prep subjects, things like accounting, IT, business, typing, religion, things like that. So you don't need to worry about sending your high school transcripts from your school. We just need to see your CXC, your official CXC scores. And if you've taken CAPE, we would like to look at your CAPE scores as well.
Awesome. I think they like what you've just said, what they're hearing, Stephen. So I have 2 questions. First question is, do you guys have dorms?
So we don't have dorms. I'll talk about that in my presentation. We do have a housing partner, which is run similar to a dorm. It's called University Point. It's near our central campus. We have multiple campus locations in South Florida. So that is available. They've been pretty full lately, though, but there are also apartments and houses that you can rent in the area as well.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So can I do a nursing prerequisite here? If so, how long does it take?
So the nursing prerequisites, hard to do online because you're not going to be able to do all of the prerequisites online, but you can do prerequisites with us. And then you can go directly from the prerequisite program into the nursing program once you've completed the prerequisites. So the prerequisites for nursing and for any of our health sciences programs, whether it's dental assisting, dental hygiene, radiography, physical therapy assistant, nuclear medicine, there are quite a few prerequisites for some of those programs. Usually you have to have at least anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, which I don't believe those are available online. So that's why you need to come to the United States. For nursing, you also have to pass what's called the HESI exam, which is kind of like an SAT for nursing. You need that for the dental one as well. So yeah, we have the prerequisite program for you though. And those prerequisites will go towards your bachelor's degree. So for example, in the nursing program, if you do the prerequisite nursing program, then you go into nursing. Then once you finish, you can do the bachelor's of nursing. Well, some of the courses that you took as part of your prerequisites will count towards your bachelor's degree. So you're saving time that way as well.
Cool. All right. Evane is asking, do I need the SAT to apply?
You do not need the SAT. Yes. As long as you have those CXC scores, you're all good. If you have the SAT, we will accept it and we'll look at it, and that will help as far as your placement. If you don't have any SAT or ACT scores, we have our own placement test that we can give you. It's called the PERCH or AccuPlacer. It's not determining whether you get admitted. It's just determining what level you start, whether you start directly at college level or whether you need to take some prerequisite classes first.
Wonderful. I hope you guys heard that for my students who are afraid of the SAT. All right. So one more question before we start, and then we can answer some questions at the end of Stephen's presentation. So someone's asking, if I applied already, where do I submit the outstanding items to complete the admissions process?
That's a good question. Most of the documents are submitted online. So if you go to the websites, which I can try and put in
I
the
can pull it up.
yeah, EU/ISSO. There you go. It's in the chat. So if you go to that website and click on the application steps, all of the steps are spelled out very clearly. You have to make sure that you read all of the instructions for each step. So there's a supplemental application, and you attach your CXC scores and your passport to that supplemental application. You do the financial affidavit. You attach your sponsor's financial information to that application, to that online form. So you do the online application, then you do the supplemental application, supplement the financial affidavit, do your testing, pay the application fee, and boom, you're done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy peasy.
Awesome stuff. All right. So we have 22 students now.
All
so
right,
Stephen,
fantastic.
take it away, my friend.
All right, let me share my screen here. If I'm doing it correctly. All good, you see me? All right, fantastic. So good afternoon. My name again is Stephen Mitchell. I'm the international recruiter for Broward College here in sunny South Florida. I'm going to talk to you today about the 2+2 Community College Advantage. I'm going to talk about it from two perspectives. Number one, just in general, what it means to do the 2+2 plan. And then I'll talk a little bit about Broward College and why Broward College is going to be, of course, one of the optimal choices that you can make for that 2+2 plan. But even if it's not Broward College, again, you can use some of this information to your advantage wherever you decide to go to school. So let's talk pretty much, I know you guys probably already know this, but just to go kind of give you a brief overview. A bachelor's degree in the United States is typically 4 years, okay? So those first 2 years are almost always the same no matter where you attend. You're taking your general education courses, math, English, all your prerequisites, and then you're taking the beginning courses of your major. So whether your major is business or the sciences or whatever, you're taking the introductory courses of that major, right? And then the last 2 years are when you're really focusing in on your major. Well, community colleges were started over 100 years ago in the United States. And under the 2+2 plan, you're going to do those same first 2 years of university that you would at a 4-year school, but you're doing it in a smaller school, at a community college. The entrance requirements are less and stringent. The class sizes are usually smaller. So for example, Broward College maximum is usually around 25 students. When you go to university, you might be in a class with 100 students, and you might not even be taught by your professor. You might be being taught by the graduate assistant. And then once you complete those 2 years, there's a process where you're able to then transfer to university through different articulation agreements, what are called articulation agreements. And then university then is required to accept all of the credits that you did at a community college. And so you enter the school, the university, as a third-year student. So you only have 2 years left at the university to complete the bachelor's degree. And what is the advantage of that? Of course, there are several advantages. One is that you're going to be paying a lot less money, typically at a community college, than you would at university. Again, the smaller classes, the easier transition to the U.S. system, et cetera. So this is an example of kind of like a foundation of what you would do at an associate degree. And basically, again, these would be the same types of classes that you take in your first 2 years of university, right? And so at community college, you're doing your first 2 years at university, but with a community college, you do those same foundation courses, and then you just transfer, and then you're doing the same year 3 and year 4 once you transfer to university. So the exact same classes that you would take at university your first 2 years, you're taking at a community college for your first 2 years. So what are some of the advantages? Again, the entrance requirements to community colleges are not as high. You don't need a high GPA. You don't need the SAT or ACT, depending on the school. Certainly for Broward College, you definitely don't use that, need that. There's no language barrier. Of course, from students from Jamaica, you don't have to worry about that. You are English speaking. Whoops, went too fast here. Let's see. The cost of tuition, again, is significantly lower, save thousands of dollars, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The admission to university to complete your bachelor's degree is often automatic. So for example, at Broward College, as long as you've graduated, you're guaranteed to get into at least one Florida State university. Okay, so one of the public universities here in Florida, you're guaranteed to gain admission once you graduate from Broward College. Again, it's a great transition from high school to higher education, smaller classes, more attention and support from your professors and administrators. Some of the professors are actually some of the same that you'll get at university. At Broward College, we have what are called adjunct professors. So these are professors, we have full-time professors, then we have what are called adjunct professors. And the adjunct professors are often teaching at local universities. So you might be getting the same professor that is teaching at Florida International University, and yet you're paying the lower tuition at Broward College to get that same professor for the exact same subject. The other type of adjunct professors we have are professors that are actually working in their field. So you might be being taught by an accountant who's actually still working in the accounting field. So you're really getting real world information, or a person who's still working in the engineering field, et cetera. You get an extra year of OPT. OPT is optional practical training. So when you are an F1 visa student, every time you complete a degree at a higher level, you're eligible to apply to the US government to work for 1 year in your field of study under your F1 visa before you return to your home country. Remember, the F1 visa is not designed for immigration. It's designed for you to come and study, and then get at least 1 year of work experience if you want, and then return to your home country. So when you go to university, you go to school for 4 years, get your bachelor's degree, you're only going to get 1 year of OPT. When you do the 2+2 plan, because you're actually earning a degree, the associate degree, you can do the 2 years, get the associate degree, get 1 year of OPT, then transfer to university, finish your last 2 years of the bachelor's program, you get another year of OPT. If you decide to go on to a graduate program like a master's degree or PhD, get another year of OPT. So that's a way that you can continue to get a work under that F1 visa program. So with the 2+2 program, you can get that extra year of OPT. Also, students who don't necessarily want a full bachelor's degree, most community colleges, such as Broward College, have technical degree programs that may not be available at universities. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then what's the advantage from a university perspective? So universities such as Florida International in Miami, University of Florida, they love community college graduates. Why? Because the community college graduates actually have a higher graduation rate from university than students who go to school directly out of high school, because the community college prepares them to be successful. Also, there are substantial scholarships that are available to, especially to international students, when they're transferring from a community college to a university. So again, because the universities know that they have a higher success rate, they're highly sought after. And so most of our international students are able to transfer to university, and they're able to get scholarships to do when they do so. In fact, a few years ago, we had an international student who got a full year scholarship to go to Brown University, which is an Ivy League school similar to Harvard or Yale or Princeton. We've had students who get full scholarships to University of Central Florida and Orlando. So getting a full scholarship as a transfer student is not unheard of. Another reason is it's a second chance to get into your dream school. So what if you wanted to go to University of Miami, but you don't have the grade point average to get into University of Miami, or you don't have the SAT scores to get into University of Miami? So now you can come to Broward College. Of course, you're saving yourself a lot of money off the tuition of University of Miami, and you're able to improve your GPA, do well this time, make sure you have a nice high GPA, and then transfer into the University of Miami, which is, again, one of the schools in which we have an articulation agreement. So you go in as a junior. So it's another way to get into your dream school if you didn't qualify directly from high school. Okay. In fact, so many universities will actually even refer students to community colleges if you don't meet their education requirements. Again, the core is similar. So no matter what you're studying, whether it's pre-med, whether it's engineering, whether it's business, accounting, et cetera, you're going to look at the school that you think you might want to transfer to. And the same general classes that you see on that program map for that university, you'll be able to match those at community college, or in this case, Broward College, that you want to go to. All right. Also, the admission dates are usually a lot more flexible. So, for example, Broward College, we admit 3 times a year, whereas at university, they might only have 1 or maybe a maximum of 2 times per year that you can apply for admission. So we kind of have a year-round admission process that makes it easier to get started. So let's talk a little bit about Broward College. We are located in South Florida, just north of Miami. I know most of you are familiar with Miami. Fort Lauderdale is the big city, and that's where the international airport is. We do have a campus down there as well, and that's where our school president is located. Some of our other administrators, we do have some classes down there, but only a few certain subjects are offered in the downtown campus. Our main campuses are our three main campuses: the North Campus up in north part of Broward, Coconut Creek, the Central Campus, which is located in the center of the county, Davie, Florida, and that's where the international office is located, and that's the campus you see in the picture behind me. The South Campus is in Pembroke Pines. That's also near Perry Airport. So if you are interested in aviation, that's where our aviation program is located. And then we have some satellite campuses around the area as well. And we have our Tiger Tail Lake Recreation Center, which is a fun place to go. And we have an online program as well. Well, we've been around for over 60 years, started in 1960. So we celebrated our 60th anniversary last year. We were the first school of higher education in the county. We're still the largest. We are highly ranked. In fact, the Aspen Institute ranked us as the top 3 community college in the entire US for this year, 2021. And we've had that distinction 4 times now to be in the top 10 of community colleges, 2013, 2017, 2019, and now again in 2021. We are very affordable. So we know that COVID has had a big impact on a lot of people and a lot of families. And so Broward College is a great way to save money because, as you can see from this chart, our tuition is going to be a lot lower than whether it's state schools and, of course, a lot cheaper than private schools. So our tuition is about $4,500 per term with books. Books are about $500 per term. So we just round it up. We say on average, it's about $5,000 per term for tuition and books. So for 2 terms, 24 credits, that's about $10,000. So the bachelor's programs, a little bit more expensive. It's about $7,500 for our bachelor's programs. You do have to qualify to get into a bachelor's program. I'll talk about that in a little bit later. We have over 63,000 students from 150 different countries. We have lots of students from Jamaica. We had about 700 F1 visa students prior to the pandemic, down to about 500 now, but that number is rapidly climbing as the borders have reopened. We have over 140 different programs, and these are broken down into 8 different pathways. So whether you're interested in the arts, in business, in aviation, in health sciences, in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, we can pretty much guarantee we have the program for you. There are very few programs that we don't offer. And of course, again, we have a lot of different student advantages. I talked already about the adjunct professors. Our student to teacher ratio is very small, 25-1. We have our campus libraries at all 3 of our main campuses, plus the online databases that you have access to. We have free academic advising, free tutoring. We have a career center to help you with your resume and how to apply for jobs when it's time for OPT. We have our outreach services to help you make the transition into school and into the area. And we have our Honors College program. Many of our international students take advantage of our Honors College program. What the Honors College program is, it's after your first term, if you have a 3.5 GPA, grade point average, that's basically a B+, A- average, then you're eligible to apply for and be accepted into the Honors College. And if you maintain your status as an honor student all the way through, you're going to be eligible for scholarships while you're here at Broward College, but more importantly, you're going to be eligible for a lot of transfer scholarships. So all of our Honors College graduates get accepted to the transfer school of their choice, and 99% of them are getting scholarships to do so. So it's definitely a great option for you. If you're looking to do the 2+2 program, make sure you get into the Honors College program. Let's see. But of course, we don't want you to just be all about the books and spending all your time in the library. So all of our campuses have a vibrant student life and activities. Of course, they've been muted a little bit with the pandemic, but everything is starting to come back to life. So whether you want to do student government or student ambassador program, we have hundreds of different clubs. And as long as if you don't see a club you like, as long as you have 10 friends with the same interest, you can start your own club. We have performing arts capabilities or activities rather, volunteer services all the time, and service opportunities. We always have those available for you as well. As I mentioned earlier, we do not have dorms on campus. Near our central campus, we have our housing partner, which is University Point. Again, it's run just like a dorm. So you have the option of being living by yourself in a single or an efficiency But if you want to save money, you can be matched with either a one person in a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, or a 4-bedroom. If you are sharing the unit with other people, you always have your own bedroom and your own bathroom. So you're not sharing your bedroom, you're not sharing the bathroom. You're only sharing the common areas such as the living room and the kitchen. There's a washer and dryer in each unit. There's a pool on the premises. There's a shuttle bus that goes back and forth to the central campus. There are study rooms. There's a gym, full gym. There's shops down at the bottom, restaurants and shops and things like that. So it's really a great facility. Not too far from the South Campus as well. So if you're doing the aviation program, it's not too far from there as well. So we like to say at Broward College that you're going to start with us. You're going to finish either by transferring to university or going directly to a job. I'll tell you about that a little bit. And then you're able to succeed wherever you want. So start here, finish there, succeed anywhere. And you're going to do that through one of these programs. The Associate of Arts degree is our 2+2 program that I'll talk about in a minute. Associate of Science degrees, Bachelor of Science, we have our language training program, and we have certificates. I'll skip over the language training because you guys don't need that. So our Associate of Science degrees are 2-year programs that are designed to prepare you for immediate employment in specialized career fields such as health sciences, graphic arts, and things of that nature. So if you wanted to go into nursing, for example, that would be an Associate of Science degree. It's a 2-year degree, and once you complete it, you're able to go directly into the workforce. As I mentioned earlier in our pre-meeting, for our health sciences degree, there are several prerequisites that you have to take before you're eligible to get admitted to those programs. So you would start with our prerequisite program first. But like a graphic arts program, for example, you can do 2 years Associate of Science in graphic arts and then go directly into getting a job in the workplace. So that's one of the advantages of the Associate of Science degrees. For people who don't necessarily want a full bachelor's degree. They want to be able to just come in and go right into what they want to do. So aviation maintenance, for example, or pilot technology, graphic arts, etc., and then go get a job. Now, for those who are interested in the 2+2 program, which was the title of my presentation, this is where, again, you're going to start with the Broward College in our Associate of Arts degree program, complete your first 2 years of your bachelor's program, and then transfer to university to complete the last 2 years of your bachelor's degree. Even if you're doing a science program, so if you're a pre-med or you're a biology major or you're engineering major, it's still the Associate of Arts degree. Don't let the term arts fool you. So that's the degree that you have to do in order to be accepted to a university. And when you're doing the Associate of Arts degree, then you're going to be able to be accepted. Let's see here. I already talked about extra year of OPT. So the top rows that you can see here, those are the logos for all of the Florida State public universities that you're eligible to transfer to once you get an Associate of Arts degree from Broward College. On the bottom, these are schools that we also have articulation agreements with. So whether it's the College of Staten Island up in New York, or University of Kentucky, Arizona State University out in Arizona, University of Missouri, University of Cincinnati in Ohio, University of Miami down south from us in Miami, there are lots of opportunities where you can transfer around the world. And we have many students who even transfer to schools that are not on this list. Many of the schools are highly ranked. So these are just the public universities that you can transfer to and what their public rankings are. So University of Florida in Gainesville, for example, is number 8 in the country right now. Arizona State, number 52. Florida State up in Tallahassee, number 26. So you have some really great options on schools that you can transfer to. This is a chart just to show you the types of savings by doing the 2+2 plan. So for example, if you were to go to Florida Atlantic University up in Boca, an international student for 4 years would spend almost $80,000 in tuition and costs. But if you come to Broward College for your first 2 years and then transfer, you're saving about $20,000, okay? And then many of our international students, of course, are saving even more than that because, again, you're getting those transfer scholarships to go to the school. If you're looking at doing private schools, then you're looking at saving even more money. So if you were to go directly to University of Miami, you're looking at over $200,000 for 4 years. But if you come to Broward College first and then transfer to the University of Miami, you're saving yourself almost $80,000. And again, if you're able to get scholarships, you're saving even more. So you can see the value and the savings is pretty tremendous when you do that 2+2 education, and yet you're getting the same degree. When you get a degree from University of Miami or University of Florida or Florida State, after doing your first 2 years at a community college such as Broward College, It doesn't say on your bachelor's degree program, bachelor's degree, University of Miami, did first 2 years at Broward College. It just says bachelor's degree, University of Miami. Nobody knows that you did your first 2 years unless you show them your other diploma, because again, you will get another diploma with that Associate of Arts degree. Okay. And then we do have some bachelor's programs. Some of our Associate of Science degrees do translate to our bachelor's programs. For the most part, again, Associate of Science degrees are the 2-year programs. They don't transfer to a bachelor's program unless it's one of ours or unless it's a special program. For example, our Associate of Science in Hospitality Management does transfer to Florida International University in Miami. But our bachelor's programs are aerospace, environmental science, supervision and management, supply chain management, which of course is big right now with the pandemic, technology, information technology, education, and then of course nursing once you've completed the nursing program. You do have to have at least 60 qualifying credits to get into our bachelor's program, which means you need to have done either an Associate of Arts degree or an Associate of Science degree, or have already attended school, say in University of West Indies, and have at least 60 qualifying credits in order to get in. Okay. So those are our programs. What are the application steps? You would go to our website, which I put also in the chat, broward.edu/ISSO, which stands for International Student Services Office. It's the online application, the supporting documents, the application fee, testing. If you don't have SAT or ACT scores, again, you can do our test. And then once all application steps are complete, you get admitted within 10 to 15 business days. We give you the I-20 immigration document. You make the appointment at the embassy, get your F1 visa, and then you're allowed to enter the United States 30 days before your program begins. So that's pretty much it. Again, if there's any questions, you can always email me, ISSO@broward.edu. So it's basically the opposite of the website. So the website is broward.edu/ISSO. The email ISSO@broward.edu. And at this point, we will take any questions that anyone has.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. So we have 3 questions waiting for you.
All right.
The first is from Allison. If I have an associate's degree in business from a community college here in Jamaica, can this be considered for matriculation to a bachelor's degree in business at Broward College?
Absolutely, yes. You would need to get what's called a commercial evaluation to show that that you have at least 60 credits are the same as the 60 credits that are necessary to get into that bachelor's program. And that information is listed on our webpage under foreign transcript evaluation. There are several companies that you can use. It has to be what's called a NACIS company. World Education is a great one to use because they have pretty good evaluations. You'll see that on the list. And then once they have that, you would turn that evaluation in as part of your application process. So it's a little bit of an extra step to go directly into the bachelor's degree, because you have to not only satisfy the requirements of being an international student with the financial documents, supporting documents, et cetera, but you also have to do a supplemental application for the bachelor's program and be accepted into that program before we can move forward with your issuing you your I-20 for your appointment at the embassy. But absolutely, yes, if you've already done that, absolutely. You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Okay, so we have another question. How long does it take for us to get the acceptance decision?
Again, once all the steps are in, so that includes online application, supplemental, financial affidavit, any testing that's required, then once everything is complete, then it's 10 to 15 business days. A business day is Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. So for example, last week on Thursday was Veterans Day. So that was not a business day, it was a holiday. The college was closed. So within 2 to 3 weeks, basically, you can expect a response from our admissions specialist, letting you know either A, you're still missing some documents, or you did something wrong, go back and fix it, or B, hey, everything looks good, and we are pleased to admit you into Broward College. Once you receive that email from our admissions specialist, they refer you to what's called a designated school official, DSO. And within another week or so, then the DSO will contact you by email, emailing you your I-20 immigration document, your acceptance packet, and all the instructions you need on how to set the appointment at the embassy.
All right. Thank you, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can international students get scholarships?
Yes. So Broward College, because our tuition is so low, again, only 4,500 per term, 5,000 with tuition and books. We don't offer scholarships to incoming students, but once you become a student, you can receive scholarships. And of course, we already talked about the ability for you to get those transfer scholarships when you're going on to university. Remember that a scholarship is really only as good as what it allows you to do. What do I mean by that? So for example, University of Miami, as you saw in my example, is about $50,000 per year, US. So if they give you a $30,000 scholarship, that sounds pretty impressive. You're like, wow, I got a $30,000 scholarship. All right. You're going around, you're bragging, you're telling all your friends. But guess what? You're still paying $20,000 a year because it's $50,000. $20,000 is double the amount you would pay at Broward College. So you got a $30,000 scholarship, but you're still paying twice as much as what you would pay to come to Broward College. So you have to compare. It's not always apples to apples, oranges to oranges. You have to see what's going to be best for you.
Right. So the net cost is important, right, Stephen?
Absolutely. The net cost. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So do you offer architecture? If so, how long does it take and what do you need to get accepted?
So the architecture program, we also do have that. Those classes are primarily in our downtown Fort Lauderdale campus. So again, that's part of the Associate of Arts degree program. So you would do the first 2 years of an architecture degree with us. Once you get your AA degree, then you would transfer to a university that has architecture to complete your bachelor's degree. So whether it's Florida International or University of Miami or wherever, University of Kentucky, then you would be able to transfer to complete your bachelor's degree.
All right, awesome stuff. Okay, so next question. Are there special requirements, for example, mathematics for engineering students? Oh, that's
Nope.
A good question.
No special requirements. So again, that's another advantage. That's a great question. Another advantage of coming to a community college in a place like Broward College. A lot of times they might say, oh, well, to get into, I'll just make up a school. You need to get into Johnson College, you need to have a 3.5 GPA, right? But to get into Johnson College's engineering program, maybe you have to have a 3.7 GPA or a 3.5 GPA. Where at Broward College, we're not looking at your GPA at all. So whether you're coming into our engineering program, whether you're coming into our music program, whether you're coming into our dance program, the admissions requirements are all the same. We just want to see your CXC scores. Make sure that you are at college level by taking our placement test. If you don't have the SAT or ACT scores, make sure you're ready for college math and college English. And even if you're not, guess what? We have the prerequisite classes to help you build up to get to that spot to where you can be successful. So absolutely, no special entrance requirements are needed for those programs. Now, there are some special costs involved with our nursing program. So in addition to the tuition, you're going to have some supply fees for your lab coats and things like that. And if you're in the pilot technology program, you're going to need to pay for your flight lessons. So the pilot technology program, normally you have to show to get the F1 visa, both with us and then also when you go to the embassy, you have to show that you or your sponsor has the money for the first 2 terms of school. So in Broward College case, that's $5,000 times 2, $10,000 for tuition and books, plus your estimated living expenses for your first year in Florida, which is $12,500. So you or your sponsor need to show $22,500. With Broward College, you can have actually up to 3 sponsors too. So if your uncle has 5,000 and auntie has 5, and your parents have 10, or 10,500, that's your 22, or 12,500, that's your 22,500. If you're doing the pilot technology program, you have to show 50,000 US because that extra money is your flight lessons for the first year. So there's no special entrance requirements, but sometimes there are special financial requirements.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. So since we're on costs, Ebony wants to know, do you charge additional funds for international students?
No. So the international students pay what's called out-of-state tuition. So even if you were a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident who is coming from California, they're going to pay the same price as you would pay from coming from Jamaica. So it's what's called out-of-state fees. International students are not eligible for in-state fees, even once they've lived here for over a year, because you're on the international program, you're not eligible for in-state tuition.
All right. Okay, so we have an artist here. Are portfolios needed for the art-related programs?
So if they, I do not believe that it's required for like drawing and pottery and things like that. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's not. For some of the music programs, there is an audition process. So for if you're in an instrument program or a singing program, there is an audition process for that. But it's that can usually be done after you've gotten your I-20 and you arrive on campus. Okay.
Okay, we have some beautiful singers and musicians in Jamaica, so that shouldn't be a problem.
That's it.
Okay, so
Don't have any pen classes, unfortunately. Yeah. That's mainly Trinidad anyway.
So Ronaldo is asking, what if you have CXC and CAPE? Do you still have to complete the testing?
So yes, you would still need to do the testing. However, if you get the commercial evaluation of your CAPE scores, you may actually get college credit for those CAPE classes. So that'll save you some tuition money. You're gonna have to spend a little money to get the evaluation, about $300 or so, but that may save you some tuition dollars, because if you get college credit for those classes, now that you're spending less money in your tuition.
All right. Okay, so Simone is asking, what program will be best for those who want to transfer to an MD program, an MD degree?
So if you want to get an MD as in a medical doctor program, so it's a variety of different programs. Many students choose different paths. Sometimes they just do a general pre-med program. Most students would usually do either a science program such as biology or organic chemistry or physics. Any of those science programs will prepare you to complete your bachelor's degree at university and then go on to apply to medical school. So remember, unlike some countries, medical school is a graduate program. So you would need to get your bachelor's degree first. And then you need to take the MCATs, which is basically the SAT for medical school. And then you get accepted into medical school for another 4 years.
A lot of years of studying ahead of you, my friend. Okay, we have 4 more questions so far. Oh, I'm loving the questions, guys. Keep them coming. So Allison's asking, her family will be relocated to Florida shortly. What will it take to qualify for in-state tuition?
So again, it depends on if you are relocating with your parents under their immigration status, or if you're coming under the F1 visa. If you're coming under the F1 visa, then you're an F1 visa student. And so you will not get any different tuition. Your tuition will always be as an international student, which is out of state. If your parents are coming as a different type of visa, say an H visa, and you're coming under their visa, or if they're getting a residency card and you're attached to that, then that's a different process. That would not go through the international department at that point. It would go through the regular admissions office, if that's the case.
Okay, all right. How do we enroll into the prerequisite classes?
So that's a great question. So for the prerequisite classes for, say, the health sciences degree program, so if you are a high school graduate and you've not graduated from university, then you should just do the Associate of Arts degree, and it's the Associate of Arts degree pre-nursing or pre-whatever. If you already have a bachelor's degree, then of course you're not eligible to take the Associate of Arts degree program, because the AA program is half of a bachelor's and you already have a bachelor's. So in that case, you would do what's called the Associate of Science in Health Navigator, which is basically our prerequisite program for all of our health sciences classes. And there's a different track for each program. So there's Health Science Navigator pre-nursing, Health Science Navigator pre-dental, Health Science Navigator pre-physical therapy assistant, Health Science Navigator pre-radiography, etc. Okay,
beautiful. All right, so Danye is asking, do I have to live in the living spaces provided? I'm assuming Danye has family in South Florida.
Again, we don't have housing on any of our campuses. We have the housing partner. So wherever you want to live is up to you. And of course, if you have family that you want to live with that's in the area, many of our students do that. That's also another way you can show less money in order to get the I-20 immigration document. So again, remember, normally you have to show 22,500 for our associate degree programs other than the pilot program. However, if you're able to show that you're going to be living with a family member or a friend, and they sign what's called the affidavit of support for living expenses, they don't have to show a bank statement or anything. They just sign a document that says, yes, I'm agreeing to be in charge of this person's living expenses, their housing, their food, their transportation while they're here. Then your parents or your sponsors, whoever your sponsor is, or yourself, if you're sponsoring yourself, you'd only need to show the $10,000 US to show that you have the money for the tuition and books for the first 2 terms. So it will make the amount that you need to show less. Now, you will need to do another document when you go to Jody Ann's place of business for your F1 visa. You have to show that I-134 document, because they're going to say, why are you only showing $10,000 to get into university? And you say, oh, because Auntie so-and-so or Uncle such and such is supporting me, and I don't have to show the living expense provision. And you have that I-134 document. So that document doesn't go to us, it goes to the embassy.
Okay, awesome stuff. All right, so do I need, it's a very long question, let me read it carefully. Do I need to do the prerequisites, then the associates, then bachelor's for nursing, or can I just do the prerequisites, then go straight into the bachelor's program? Okay,
great question. No, what you would do is, let's say, for example, you're starting off the prerequisites for nursing in the Associate of Arts degree. You would not complete that full Associate of Arts degree, at least it's not recommended, because if you did that, you'd be in school a long, long time. So you would only take the classes that you need to get into nursing. Usually it's going to take at least 2 terms of, again, you have to be a full-time student as an international student. Full-time is 12 credits minimum. So let's say 2 terms of 24 credits in order to just make sure that you have most of the, if not all of the prerequisite classes that you need to get into nursing. You need Anatomy and Physiology 1 and Anatomy and Physiology 2. You can't take 2 until you've taken 1. So that's why you're going to definitely need at least 2 terms to get all of your prerequisites in. Once you have those prerequisites and you take and pass the HESI exam, you're going to apply to switch to the Associate of Science in nursing. And now you're going to do the 2 years of nursing. So you've already done 2 semesters, or basically almost 1 year under the AA program. Now you're going to do 2 years on the Associate of Science. Then once you complete that degree, you'll transfer into the bachelor's program, and it's an additional 18 months to get your bachelor's degree. If you've already done some classes in the Associate of Arts program, it might be even less. You might only need 1 year instead of 18 months to get your bachelor's degree. So the whole thing will still be about 4 years, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how many classes you took under the Associate of Arts degree while you were getting your prerequisites to get into nursing. But those nursing program is something completely separate from getting those prerequisites.
All right, good stuff. All right, are there any scholarships available to cover transportation or relocating to college in the US?
Again, no scholarships for incoming students, unfortunately, but there are certain resources that you can look for, such as on our financial resources page. Jamaica is eligible for the Linkage Institute scholarships. You can apply for that. There's also the OAS, right? OAS. You guys are eligible for those.
The Row Fund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those scholarships too. And you may have some scholarships in your government that will allow you to attend school in the United States. So there's definitely different ways to get some scholarship money. But again, it's once you become a student, then you can start applying for some additional scholarship money.
All right, excellent. Do we need both units of CAPE for the evaluation, or would one unit be enough to bypass the testing / SAT requirements?
So you don't need CAPE in order to bypass SAT, and you don't even need to have taken any CAPE in order to get admitted to Broward College. If you have taken CAPE, we want to see those scores. If you have not taken CAPE, then that's fine. As long as you have the passes that we need under your CXCs, then you're good to go. So you always have to show, for any school that you apply to, not just Broward College, you always have to show all of your academic records, right? So in this case, it would be CXEs, it would be CAPE if you've taken it, if you've gone to University of West Indies or wherever, even though you didn't graduate, let's say you just took 2 classes, we still need to see the transcript for those 2 classes. Some students will say, oh, but I just want to start over. I don't want to use those classes from University of West Indies as credit. that doesn't matter. We won't necessarily use them as credit. You can definitely waive that requirement, but we still need to see the transcript in order for you to be admitted. Right? So that's why I say CAPE. If you've taken CAPE, we have to see it. If you haven't taken CAPE, don't worry about it.
All right. So we have 2 more minutes, guys. So if you have any more burning questions, drop them in the chat. So Donnie is asking, will the I-134 form be provided alongside the I-20?
No, there's a link to that on our webpage. That's, again, through the embassy. So we don't provide that form, but we do offer the link where you can pick that form up.
And just as a reminder, Danye, so we have a webinar on Thursday. So make sure you sign up for all our webinars because this week is International Education Week, guys. So we're covering all things studied in the US. So be sure to sign up for our session on Thursday if you'd like more information about that. All right, so final question. Actually, we have time for one more after this one. Can doing CAPE exempt you from these prerequisites? I think you answered that one already.
Usually not. No, it depends on the CAPE classes you've taken, but usually not. Yeah. So one thing also to remember, guys, is remember F1 visas are designed for you to come to the United States and then return home. So your interview a lot of times is very short. It's going to be sometimes only as quick as 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes or less, you need to present to your interviewer why you want to come to the United States to study and what your plan is to return once you've received your education. If they don't feel like you have a plan to return, then that's when you can get the F1 visa denied. So especially if you have a lot of friends or relatives who are living in the US, you need to show why you're planning on coming back. Otherwise, they're like, well, you just planning to come up there and stay. And this is not the visa for that process. So make sure you're very clear on your education goals and as well as your return goals so you can be successful with that F1 visa.
Absolutely. All right. So Kadeem, if we do the 2+2 program, can we get scholarships for the 3rd and 4th year?
Yes, that's what I was mentioning in our presentations. We have many of our international students who get full scholarships sometimes to go to University of Central Florida, Florida International University. We've had students get full scholarships to go to private schools, Brown University I mentioned. We've had students go to Yale, Columbia, which are also Ivy League. So absolutely, it's not guaranteed. Scholarships to other schools are not guaranteed, but we will try to advise you on what you need to do to be successful so that you can get those scholarships.
All right. Wow. So record time and 25 questions. Good job, Stephen. So any final words for students, any words of advice to, present their best self?
Yeah, just some of the same things that I talked about. Again, we love our students from Jamaica. That's probably our 2nd or 3rd highest country that we have students from F1 visa. So it's usually not an issue as long as you present yourself properly and you state your case when you go to the embassy. The sooner you get the documents to us, then the faster we can rule on your admission. We do have what's called rolling admission, so you don't have to wait for a certain date in order to be admitted. Yeah, we have, I'm sure many of you have friends, family, relatives up here, and they can tell you that there's a huge Jamaican diaspora up here, lots of great restaurants, maybe not quite as good as down home, but we're pretty close. So come on up and we'd love to have you up here in South Florida.
Awesome stuff. And just to give another shameless plug to our YouTube channel, so please subscribe to us at US Embassy Jamaica. All of the webinars this week will be posted on our YouTube. So thank you all so much for participating. And thank you, Stephen, for sharing information on Broward College with us. So guys, so join us at 3 for another Florida University, College of Central Florida. So thanks again, guys. And Stephen, it's great to see you again, my brother.
See you. Look forward to seeing you in person.
All right.